Bonjour. Alors, bienvenue à la partie 3, vocabulaire 3. As you can see, we're working on time. Quelle heure est-il? You can listen to the audio to hear the different times. And you can also look at the vocabulaire complémentaire, the complementary vocabulary. What I'm going to do right now is go through the vocabulary with a slideshow that I made up. And then you will be all set to begin knocking off these activities. As you can see, you have one activity due. Quelle heure est-il? This one you don't have to do, you can tell, because by hovering over with your mouse, it just says complete textbook activity if you want to, but it doesn't say there's an assigned date. There's also this activity, l'emploi du temps de Simon, a listening activity. Il est l'heure, I did not ask you to do that, and I did ask you to do une vie saine. Some of these activities, especially the ones that you'll get to from in the ESAM, will help you learn how to tell time after my presentation. But other activities, as you saw on the previous page, will help you review the vocabulary to talk about school and to talk about verbs with the ER verbs, which are at the heart of this chapter. Let's look at my PowerPoint though. Vous avez l'heure. Oops, that's not the first page. I'm going to do a slideshow. Vous avez l'heure. Quelle heure est-il? What time, or literally which hour, what hour is it, is how people ask for the time. Quelle heure est-il? Or vous avez l'heure. Do you have the time or the hour? L'heure. Quelle heure est-il? L'heure. The responses will always begin with the impersonal il. Il est, and then the number, heure. For example, il est quelle heure? Il est une heure. If I say il est une heure, there's no S. It's one. It's 1 o'clock, 1 hour. Il est 2 heures. Il est 2 heures et demie. Il est 2 heures is, right, 2 o'clock. Il est 2 heures et demie, 2:30. Et demi is the way they talk about half past, or 2:30. Half past 2. Il est 2 heures du matin means it's 2 in the morning. Il est 2 heures de l'après-midi, it's 2 in the afternoon. Another way of saying it's 2:30 or il est 2:30 is il est 2:30, which is more of a digital, 2:30. Il est 2:30. If you want to say it's 1:45, you would start il est 2 heures and then you go moins le quart. So it's 2 hours less le quart, the quarter. Il est 2 heures moins le quart. But if you're saying it's 2:15 or 2:15, you can say il est 2:15 or il est 2:15. So if you're saying 1/4, you say écart. If you're saying 1:45, you actually say what it is to first. If it's 2:45, I'll start il est 3 heures and then moins le quart, minus a quarter. Or in our way of saying it is 1:45. 1:15, il est 1h15 or il est 1h15. 1:45, il est 2 heures moins le quart. 5 past and 5:02, il est 1h05 or il est 1h moins 5. If it's 5 to 1, I'd say il est 1h moins 5. Now, 10 minutes later, 10 minutes plus tard, il est 1h05. Il est midi, il est minuit. Midi means noon. And you can see it comes from middle, literally middle of the day. The sun is in the middle of the sky, n'est-ce pas? Midi. Midnight, you can see minuit, in the middle night. Minuit. Le midi et le minuit, so noon and midnight, are masculine. So just note that when you say il est midi et demi or il est minuit et demi, there's just that I. There's no IE. If you're talking in terms of hours, il est 2h et demi, you have an E after the I. If you're just saying il est midi et demi or il est minuit et demi, it's just an I. So, let's just go through again. Il est 1h30, il est 2h30, il est 3h30, il est 4h30. Yes, in all of these, demi is spelled D-E-M-I-E, D-E-M-I-E. However, for midi et minuit, it's il est midi et demi, il est minuit et demi. Voilà, c'est masculin. Donc, il n'y a pas de, no E. When you're talking about time in France, and throughout Europe for that matter, you often have to learn the military or 24-hour clock, le système des 24 heures. In fact, once you get used to the 24-hour system, it's hard to go back to the other way where there's potential confusion between, morning and night. Il est 1h, n'est-ce pas, is 1 in the morning. If you know that for sure, it's probably il est 13h if it's 1 in the afternoon. You don't have to say 1h de l'après-midi because il est 13h. Obviously, that is lunch hour. Il est 2h as opposed to il est 14h. Yep, that means it's 2 o'clock. Il est 3h, 3 o'clock. Il est 15h. Il est 3h de l'après-midi. Il est 15h. Il est 4h de l'après-midi. Il est 4h du matin. Well, one thing is for sure, if you say il est 16h, there's no mistaking, that's 4 in the afternoon. Il est 5h du soir, you can also say il est 17h. Il est 6h du soir, ou bien il est 18h. Il est 7h, il est 19h. Il est 20h du soir, il est 8h du soir. Il est 8h du soir, il est 20h. Il est 9h du soir, il est 21h. Il est 10h, il est 22h. Il est 11h, il est 23h. Et puis voilà, il est minuit. The clock goes back to 0 at midnight. I have gotten used to military time, and I actually brought my alarm clock with my 24 hours over to America. I purchased a special plug for my alarm clock. I love having no ambiguity whatsoever about what time it is. Here are some other complementary vocabulary words. For example, if someone asks the question, à quelle heure est-ce que tu as cours de français? À quelle heure est-ce que tu as le cours de français? At what time do you have French class? If I answer vers 5h30, I'm saying around 5:30, or vers 5h15, if I'm giving a kind of approximate, about this time. What if I say entre 5h45 et 7h10? What did I just say? I said between, entre 5:45 and 7:10. I can also talk about time if I'm saying from to, de 5h45 à 7h10. Now, if you're not using the military time, you can give this information. Du matin is morning, de l'après-midi, afternoon, du soir is PM, evening. Donc, il est 7 heures du soir, or il est 19 heures. To be early, to be late, to be on time, or to be late. Être en avance is to be in advance, n'est-ce pas? To be early. J'ai un cours à 5h45. J'arrive vers 5h30. Alors, si j'arrive vers 5h30, je suis en avance. J'ai un cours à 5h45. Je suis dans la salle de classe à 5h45. Alors, je suis à l'heure. J'ai un cours à 5h45 et il est 6h. Alors, je suis en retard. Okay, your follow-up or online class activities are posted on iLearn. You have not only a few listening activities to just help you review the new sounds of telling time in French. You have exercice B, l'emploi du temps de Simon. I love exercises like this one, which help you push ahead into the new vocabulary while reviewing the ER verbs and verbs for activities from past chapters. And you have one example, one activity where you're just talking based on information about whether on est à l'heure ou en avance ou en retard. The G, l'emploi du temps. If you are in my online class, you are doing G, l'emploi du temps. For my blended class, we will do that all together. And H, activity H, you'll have, it's a fun activity. It pitches you questions like, aimez-vous passer un examen à 7 heures du matin? And you have to answer with the appropriate expression. For example, pas du tout, or pas du tout is not at all, or peut-être, maybe. Voilà. That is the end of the slideshow. And as you can see, your activities are all set up. You'll be going through the different textbook activities to practice your agility with telling time. It's all about practice and repetition. These activities, you can't just breeze through them. They are your class, your attendance of a class. They're also your homework, your follow-through, your revision, your listening. Voilà. I hope that you enjoy these activities as well as the pronunciation activities and film activities that come from this page, Liaison avec les mots et les sons. This is a wonderful way, again, to review the vocabulary and to learn how to listen to French. Voilà, bon courage.